Yeah, this has been a good day for agriculture in terms of the budget. Anybody who was watching Michael Noonan's speech will have seen him speak for quite a portion of his speech about agricultural taxation and some of the new strategic things that we're doing. Mainly what we're doing is we're trying to free up long-term leased land for young farmers that are looking to expand and grow, because they can't buy land because it's too expensive, and they can't invest in land if they get it at a short-term lease arrangement. So we are using the tax system. The tax package for farmers in this budget is worth about 350 million euros. So this is a big package for farmers. And it is about doing strategic things to make sure that farmers can grow and expand and make more money from the marketplace, which essentially is what we're trying to do in the Department of Agriculture, as well as, of course, support farm families that are farming in vulnerable situations on disadvantaged land and in upland areas and so on. In terms of sectors within agriculture, a big emphasis on beef, a package of 73 million euros of supports for the beef sector next year. The beef genomic scheme, which beef farmers will be familiar with, will mean that you'll be able to get 100 euros per animal per calved cow in the suckler herd next year for your first 10 animals, and 80 euros per cow for all of the animals after that, as well as having strong financial support for what are called beef discussion groups to help farmers build better businesses. There's a big emphasis as well on farm safety. We have committed 12 million euros for a farm safety scheme, which will help to finance safety initiatives in farmyards right across the country next year. It's the first time this has ever been done. This is about putting covers on slurry pits, fixing slats in slatted sheds to make sure that animals or people don't fall into slurry pits. It's about putting railings in appropriate locations so people don't slip and fall over. It's about putting protective guards in place to separate people from livestock when and where appropriate, and a whole series of other capital investments on farms that can try to reduce the tragic figures that we're seeing this year in terms of fatalities due to farm accidents. We're doing lots of other strategic things too. For the first time in 7 years, we're seeing a dramatic increase in the available funding for the horse racing and greyhound industry because we have a new income stream from that sector. Michael Noonan and myself are introducing a new piece of legislation which means that we're going to make about 25 million euros next year from online betting tax. And so we are going to put some of that money directly into the horse industry and greyhound industry, which is where most betting takes place, so that we can support this sector in terms of growth and expansion into the future. There's about 17,000 people employed in that industry, and it has a turnover of about €1 billion. So lots of sectors here. We're doing strategic things both with the tax system and with a new rural development programme, which will see an increase in expenditure next year of about 35 million euros in terms of spend on farms. So I think what we have now is policy certainty and funding certainty for the next number of years in agriculture, and it's my job to make sure that that results in confidence and modernisation in agriculture, so that we have more people working the land profitably into the future.